December, first Monday of a month for this year. I'd like to call to order the City Council work session, December 1st, 2025. Call to order at 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Ma'am.
Microphone. Yes.
Mayor Sauter,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Messick, Councilmember Don Dixon,
Here.
Councilmember Powell,
Here.
Councilmember Miller, Councilmember Lester,
Yep.
and Councilmember Alfred Dixon.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so very much. Council, there's an adoption of the agenda next on the item. I think there were some adds or some deletions, Madam Clerk, or did you not have any?
I didn't have any.
Chief, did you have any?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I would like to propose a structured time schedule for the park closure from dusk to dawn until dusk.
So we'll keep that as item D, and just include it there. It says rules, but we'll include it there. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Were there any other staff? Felt like we had something else. Council, any additions? Council, I'm gonna add, a letter into the record up under mayor's. Madam Clerk, where's the most appropriate way to add that? Add it under, a old business item?
I would say old business.
Okay. Item C, I would like to add, I can always do it as a point of privilege, but I think for minute's sake, you would like it as an item.
Yes.
Discussion regarding the investigation that was ordinance signed on October 22nd. Council, there's no more additions? Felt like there was some more. I don't think nobody's complaining, but we'll go on. If there's no other additions, I will entertain a motion to accept the agenda with said changes.
Make them. Go ahead. Make the motion to accept the agenda with said changes.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Ms. Kennedy, you didn't have anything to add, did you? No. Okay, that's what I thought, okay. There's no mayor's presentations, no regular presentations. Actually, there is one. We have a new staff member, super excited to introduce you all to investigator Gwen, who comes to us by way of Stockbridge for over 30-plus years.
How you doing?
I would say today was his first day, but I kind of heard Investor Gwen, you was doing a little working last week, so. But today was his official day. Welcome to the City of Jonesboro. We're so glad to have you. And so this is our wonderful council, and we appreciate you doing it. Thanks for your service and bringing your service to the City of Jonesboro. You can be excused if you would like to. Thank you. Chief, is that okay? Can I excuse? Okay, perfect. Can somebody bring me the public comment sheet? Y'all, what just happened?
TVs and everything.
The TVs went out. Okay. Is there anything behind Mr. Ernick's head? Mr. Ernick's head? All right. Is Ms. Fox here? All right. Mr. Lance Van Dyke. Please tell me we made some progress, Mr. Van Dyke. Oh,
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
how you doing?
I guess basically what I'm here to say is I've been told that there is nothing that can be done about my situation, that because of the change to the historic gateway, that the way my property is, it is, so if I go to sell it, it's not worth anything. If I lose tenants, I can't get new tenants in. And what I'm coming to the council today is basically saying, is there something else that the city wants to do for me, or do I have to pursue litigation? I mean, that's where I'm at. I own a $500,000 property that's not worth 200 grand, and it's my retirement, so I'm going to be fighting at this point.
And Mrs. Akuda, I'm assured that you, okay. Only thing that we can do next step is talk to our legal counsel, but I'm assured that Ms. Akuda, I mean, zoning is what it is.
It was changed without my, and it wasn't actually changed as a thing. It was made into a different district, and it had a dramatic effect on my property values.
And whoever comes in can't do a variance of application?
It's excluded.
Okay.
This wouldn't be a perishable item. The only option could possibly be a text amendment, but it would have to come back before council as well for a decision.
But would that be once a tenant comes, or would it be something longstanding for the property?
I would say once a tenant comes, because depending on who he tries to have occupy the space, that could alter the use.
Okay. So what she's saying is that if someone comes in, only up under the use that it was previously zoned for, they could do a text amendment. That sounding right? Like they couldn't do a text amendment for something beyond the use.
Right, we would have to know what the proposed use is first.
Okay, so you still have that option open, and I think the
I
council would
don't
be,
have a problem with if it was something that was previously zoned for,
correct.
but it's specifically excluded in the gateway.
But was it excluded prior to the gateway? So if it was, so because it's currently excluded from the gateway, they can't do a text amendment?
The text amendment would be for the gateway overlay.
Okay, so that person could come in and ask for a text amendment to not be excluded, but as long as it's a use from the prior zoning.
So they would essentially be requesting for whatever said use is to be permissible, and they would be essentially making a text amendment to the gateway overlay.
But just for that property.
No, it would be specific to the entire overlay district.
So if somebody comes in, then it wouldn't just be for his property, it would have to be for the,
It would be for the entire section of the gateway district.
okay. Any other creative options?
Madam Mayor, just to let you know, I mean, I have.
I'm gonna let your time go because I've been talking to you. Go ahead.
I have roughly $250,000 to $300,000 that my property went down in value because of this.
So I'm not sure, like, property value would change that quickly from a gateway overlay, like, for zoning. It would,
It's because of the building and the best use of the building. I appealed my taxes with the county. The county even agreed. It went down over 200 grand. I mean, I have a warehouse. I have loading docks. I have automobile service. I have, you know,
and the main
7 or 8
usage
this.
that you would want from the previous would be,
Warehouse and auto service.
and the overlay has excluded that. How close is he to the boundary of the overlay?
About 100 yards.
He's right at the line, like he's close.
All right. And Attorney Dreyer, there is no other way that close to the boundary that a property text amendment or variance can occur without change, because we don't want to change the whole overlay. That was the whole purpose of it. And I can tell you, I don't want to guarantee you that, you know, that overlay change was advertised appropriately, you know, for all that were involved. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Van Dyke.
Okay, I guess I'm just looking for somebody to tell me what I have to do next.
Yeah, I will forward it, yeah. So can you work with Attorney Dreyer, or if we need to go out and get a planning and zoning, you know, somebody specific for that, and just see, we'll take it one more step, Mr. Van. But hear me when I say I appreciate you coming. Like, this is a process for overlays, and so I appreciate your patience, and so we're not rushing. Each time we get, I think, a step closer, so now.
And if it was $10,000, $20,000, I mean. It's
I
a lot of
get
money,
it.
But, you know, if it costs the city $200,000-300,000,
Oh, I get it, Mr. Van Dyke. So again, I appreciate what you're doing. You have Mrs. Sakuta's direct contact?
yes, I do.
Let's just,
She's been very helpful, but there's only so much she can do with it.
yeah, no. So, okay, thank you so much. Ms. Fox, we called your name. Do you want to still come up?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. Hi, everyone. My name is Santia Fox. I live at 180 North McDonough Street. I just wanted to invite you all to our DDA is having a meeting this Thursday. Personally invite. We just kind of need more participation from the community, from council, as we just kind of restructure, get some things in order, and push forward into 2026. Thank you. Thursday, 6 p.m. This Thursday, 6 p.m. Okay.
In the community room.
Thank you.
Is it
All right,
here in the
thank you.
chambers?
In the community room.
Community room, gotcha.
All right, thank you so much. No public hearing, old business.
A, council to consider an agreement between the City of Jonesboro, Georgia and Falcon Design Consultants, LLC, for comprehensive construction project management services related to 100 Gloria Drive project, Public Works Building.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this is the agreement between Falcon and the city regarding the 100 Gloria Drive project. The attorneys as well as Falcon had a chance to look back over the agreement, and the necessary changes were made. So the agreement that was in the packet is the one we would like to execute.
Again, Attorney Dreyer, this is the one that he's reviewed and everything.
Yes.
Again, Falcon is coming for our Public Works Department. Is no change in the amount that was already allocated from,
The previous, yes.
the previous person.
That's right, Mayor. Savings from our transition is completely satisfies the Falcon
Okay, perfect.
agreement. And this is our standard agreement that we drafted about 10 months ago and have been using since then. I appreciate them using our form.
Perfect. So council, any questions on this? The only other thing is that there has been a delay on a few things, so Mrs. Akuta as well as Ms. Adeboye will be meeting next week to see a projected completion date and if there needs to be any adjustment on Ms. Adeboye's fees. But if they do, it'll be recouped probably through the construction once we've given them ample amount of time. All righty. Are y'all okay with this going to consent?
It's good with me.
Okay. Can it go to consent? It can go?
Yes.
You say you don't think it can?
I said okay.
You consent, okay, good. I feel like I'm not hearing that, okay. Thank you so very much. Yes. On the mics? Okay, yeah. I felt like I was loud a second ago. There you go.
Letter B, council to discuss FY '26 proposed budget.
Council, do y'all have the budget? Is this gonna include our budget transfer as well? Or is that separate on here? I see.
That's
Do y'all got the budget over there?
Did we give them a new budget? I have one.
I don't have one.
What a new budget at? It's not part of the packet? I have mine.
I think it was just a discussion, but
Huh?
it was just a discussion, but I don't have any documents last time.
Oh, okay, so, okay, yeah, so it's the I guess they probably would have wanted a copy, I'm sorry. Yes,
It's just the budget that we were given at the end of the last meeting.
correct.
Okay. Can we get a financial report sent to us this week so that, because I've been going through this, but we need to see where we're at.
Okay,
We haven't had a financial report all year, so if we can get one for the last 11 months, just showing like a simple.
do you have that, Ms. Kennedy?
That we spent 80% of our budget.
Can you come into the microphone?
Okay. She's still working on those bank reconciliations. I'm still working on some of the bank reconciliations. So what I can do is give you.
Can you hear? Step up to the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Since we're still working on some of those bank reconciliations for at least we're in 2025 now on the bank reconciliations. So we're in 2025. And so once we get through with them, then we can give you full reports. But what I can do right now is give you what we've gotten in revenue and what we spent out. But I
Can you
can't
give it
you,
per
the
line,
balance
though?
sheet. Yeah, I can't give you like the balance sheet that would show, what the bank account balances are and fund balance and stuff like that. Because
How far are we into 2025?
Okay, Karen just told me today that she finished January on the big bank accounts, but all the other ones are done, because I finished up the, what was it today? Municipal court today. I got it up to October. So once we close out, November finishes yesterday. So once we get that bank reconciliation, everything else is fine except for that, the
Municipal
pool
court.
account.
The pool account? So
That's the only one.
How many line items are affected by the pool account?
Everyone.
I know.
I mean, everyone is affected by that pool account. So that's the reason I'm saying I can give you an income statement. I just can't give you a balance sheet right now because.
I think what they
the
want to
numbers-
know is that for a particular line item. This is what was budgeted in 2024,
That
and this
we
is
can-
what,
I can show you
and this
that.
is what is remaining.
Yeah, I can show you that.
You
That I
can-
can show you.
Okay, well, that's what,
We need and
that's,
updated.
yeah, that's
Okay.
what they need.
Well, that was the last one we worked
This
on.
is the first one we got in August, and this is the only one that we have received.
I thought the last meeting we had one,
The
we
next-
sent to everybody one.
No, I know since August, I know because I got emails where I told y'all to come up and pick up the hard copies. Of budgets, yeah, that was
Yeah.
in October, early October.
That's what I'm saying, that's the last time we've had any discussions about. the
Correct,
budget.
but I mean, so,
But there was
What
nothing
we
in
got
there
in
for this.
October and November is identical, but we did not get this.
No, we just
That
got a budget,
shows-
was all we got.
what is that? Tell me, I don't, sorry, get my eyes together. Okay, so yeah, so they want to see the budget balance and percentage of budget.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
That I can show them. I just can't give anybody a balance sheet right now.
I think that'd be sufficient.
Okay, I mean, I can give you.
So
the
can you
income
do it
statement.
tomorrow and print copies and they can come pick it up?
Yeah, they can do that.
By the end of the day, she'll have them ready for y'all to pick up. She'll send an email out.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect. Any other questions related to the budget? All right.
I got a question for
Sure.
you. Just in regards to the Jonesboro Youth City Government account, I know that we had some discussion about that last week. Were there any changes to that?
No, I kept it at 4,000.
Okay, I would love to see it go back up to the 8,800.
Yeah, so the problem that we had, and after discussing with some residents as well
Yes,
as
sir.
some staff, is that I would rather see so first of all, remember we talked about with the Jonesboro Youth City Government that the initial contract was that they would be people they would be residents. And so we have absolutely none of our residents. I would like to see $4,000 given and then you all raise additional funds. The additional $4,000 can be used for utility assistance. I mean, there is a number of money that we could put the $4,000 aside to use for other residents that directly relate to the city. But I think giving $8,000 to a youth city government, I won't propose that, so we'll be at a stalemate. But I will propose that we put $4,000 in an effort to support community initiatives that directly impact our taxpayers. So we have, and I know you know, Councilman Dixon, we have people that call that want utility assistance. Maria can tell you some of the calls we get. Utility assistance, food. I mean, these are people that actually live in the city, and not all of them are renters. These are people that actually pay taxes. And so I would like to see that $4,000 delegated to another pool that actually serves a result. But taking $8,000 worth of taxpayers' money for the Jonesboro Youth City Government, and again, I think if it was probably at least 50% were residents, but they weren't. So I would like to see that $4,000 used to directly impact our residents in the city.
And I appreciate that too. And I think we spoke about this earlier this year in regards to the percentage of residents that are actually in the city of Jonesboro for the JYCG. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to amp up the promotions for the city of Jonesboro so that we can get more city of Jonesboro residents involved. December is here. January will be here in a month, and we're preparing for the next year.
So $4,000 worth of publicity? We don't even have that much for the city.
No, not publicity. We currently have 15 children for the JYCG. Next year, like I said, we look to do what we need to do as far as in-house to promote within the city, within the community, to bring the members into the JYCG.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's not worth being funded, but I think $4,000, like, you know, maybe if I see a budget that shows like but I think the additional $4,000 for the needs that we have here for taxpayers' money we have no funding that directly benefits citizens that are in need that live in the city. I have no funding pool. None. So if a citizen that pays taxes, house burned down, and we wanted to provide 2 or 3 nights hotel, we wouldn't have it. If there's a freeze warning and some of our residents or scopes go out and we need to bring them here and feed, we have nothing. So I'm not saying one is over the other, but I think a nice compromise would be $4,000 for Jonesboro Youth City Government and then $4,000 that we can use for community-based initiatives that directly impact citizens. I wish we had enough money to do both, but unfortunately this year we just don't.
Gotcha. And I think that's an amazing idea too. I wouldn't be opposed to it, and I think the residents would appreciate it as well. Now, would that $4,000 be a separate pool, like you said, a separate pool of money, or would this be like a community initiatives under?
I don't know how we would fund it because we'd have to look at how it's and see where we move it now. Because right now the $4,000 will come. What is our contingency now? So right now, the extra 4,000 will come from our contingency, which we desperately need a bigger contingency. So I don't want to take anything else from our contingency. So if you all want to take it from something else, we can go back to cutting a staff member. That would give us a significant amount of money that we can play around with. But right now, I don't want a $50,000 contingency is bare minimum. So I don't want to take anything from our contingency. So we can find $4,000 from somewhere else, some other line items, then that, but we don't even have the $4,000 to even use towards something. So I didn't want to cut Jonesboro Youth City Government any less than that. But we have no other fundings, no other programs funded at that amount.
Mayor,
Yes.
one of the line items I was looking at under, mayor and council was our supplies, line items, forgive me. 26 and 27, office supplies and miscellaneous supplies. I spoke with, Ms. Jewett about changing up the process possibly of how we do our books in this next year to cut down on the amount of paper, the amount of books, the amount of her time that she's having to spend to do these. And if we could cut that amount in half and give that other half to the Youth City Council.
Okay, so the
I
amount
don't
of
see
paper
why
that
we
we spend,
couldn't.
I completely agree that we shouldn't be paperless. That's why everybody has iPads, but everybody requested these binders. The current council requested the binders.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I would like to say, we'd still probably need, I'd like to keep 2 books, because we had an incident years ago, remember, when the internet went out? And then we didn't have any way to access the materials. So we just print like 2 books. And
But if it goes down, 6
versus
people gonna share.
10, Ma'am,
Okay, that's fine. But I don't feel like, still, I would not present a budget that would give Jonesboro Youth City Government $8,000. There, if we're gonna take that money from there, I feel like we should take it and have it for a pool of money to use.
What I wanted to say about the office supplies and everything, remember we have that computer upstairs that they were putting it in the newsletter, and the newsletter is going away. So that's where we move some of that money into that office supplies. That's why you see it go up, so that we can pay for that printer. And so we won't have that newsletter line to take that out of. So we're gonna take that money, that's why I moved it over there, so we could take that money and pay the office, pay for that printer up there, the monthly fees that they charge for that printer.
What printer is that?
is that-
Don't let me call it your printer, the printer that's in the mayor's office.
Would
Yes, ma'am.
is that under the miscellaneous supplies or the office supplies?
It's under, well,
Because both those are identical.
I know it, that's what I'm saying, I put half in office supplies and half in, miscellaneous supplies, just so, you know what I'm saying, I can make sure that we will hit the target for that particular line item, so.
Right now, there's 31,000 budgeted for
For,
paper.
in office supplies?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll verify that. And then the other thing is,
I don't remember 31,000.
with the
in
supplies,
office
we
supplies.
kept it, we want to keep it high because Mr. Tran will speak
Now,
to
if you're
you.
talking about that particular line that's in 1565 for office
I'm talking
supplies.
about all 5 departments. It's
You're talking about all 5 of them.
31,000.
Yeah, okay, well, you know, every department has to have their own particular line item to get those supplies. You know, we don't wanna hit one person's budget for everybody's supplies, so, you know.
But according to this, we've only spent $9,000.
Well, you know, I'm just
Councilman
trying to make sure
Dixon,
that,
be a
you know,
little
at the
nicer,
end of the year,
little harsh.
when we have line items that go over here and everything, because like in 23 and 24, we haven't done anything to correct any of those line items, so, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to do, like with the thing that's coming up, the item that's coming up, where we didn't have that, where we didn't use all that money for the poll workers and the election workers. Now that they need to fix that house up at 173 Cloud Street, we've got that money sitting there. We can move that, if you guys agree, we can move that, and that will take care of the renovations to the 173 Cloud Street, so. But I mean, maybe the supplies are a little high, but I definitely.
Well, I think
want
one
to-
reason why we kept them high, and Mr. Tran probably can speak to this, the number of computers that have to be replaced, and we
Yeah.
have them on a
Yeah, that's true.
graduated
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to speak for you, Mr. Tran. Come on up. How many computers do we need to ideally replace next year?
Yeah, because he wants me to have he wants a separate line item for, just computers for each one of the departments.
And
So
right
keep it
now-
like that, so,
Correct.
yeah.
I mean, there's a whole technology
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
plan that we need
So
to.
basically, technology, it can get outdated real quick, but we need a certain amount of supply for accessory to make things work, rather than replace the entire item. Let's say, example, we have a computer 7 years ago, but in order to band-aid it, we have to upgrade the internal part for it to keep the equipment running. Because we don't have remember like 2 months ago I gave a presentation, we had to create a cycle of scheduled replacement equipment, just something similar to vehicle. We can't spend hundreds of $1,000 for 1 year for replace all the computer all at once because of the manpower, the resources. So we asked for like a small amount of money to replace annually. And when I came in, I look at this computer that are outdated. So they all accessory need to be replaced to keep it up to date.
So ideally, next year, like how many computers would you want to replace?
We are looking at about 10 at least. But within the budget that I was asking for the scheduled replacement, about 20,000.
About how much?
20,000.
Is that in the budget or is that in the supplies? So
And-
ideally,
And this not to mention the main core infrastructure. I'm talking about internal server that we're hosting.
can you come to the mic a little bit?
Like internal server, all of file that we generated, we didn't think much, but there are files that we generate every day, and those files need to be the backup. But for the last, I think did we the conversation we talked about the chief. There are memory that need to be expanding, or at some point we have to replace that server altogether.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I feel like at one meeting you mentioned going into some sort of situation where we can have these newer computers and then rotate them out every 3 or 4 years as they need to be, so that we're not constantly having to buy them. It's just a constant rotating.
I think
That's
what did you just call it?
It's a scheduled replacement equipment.
Scheduled replacement plan.
It's similar to we have how many vehicles we have? It's a similar process.
Yeah, so like the courtroom computers that are right at the dais there, those are some of the oldest computers
Right.
we have in the building. And consistently, when court week hits, Mr. Tran or Zany are in here trying to get the computers working so that court can carry on. So they.
That happens
Yeah.
all the time.
They've expanded the memory in those computers to try to help some of that, but what he's talking about it with the server, so if it doesn't back our files up and we have lightning hit a computer or a virus attack one computer, we have a backup for all of those files that's untouched. The problem with that is, when you have people who come and go, that have sensitive documents that we need to retain, we have to isolate those documents for open records in case someone requests those emails or anything like that. So you have to have that storage space. And so that's the world we live in today, is everybody wants more space in the cloud. And unfortunately, we bought a server that was big enough for what we needed then, not what growth would foresee. So that's where we are, and he's trying to put some money in the budget to have this replacement for the computers to be replaced, and, so that he can get them replaced before they crash.
The other thing we need to look at considering, let's say we have a computer in here maybe about 8, 9 years old, 10 years old, easy. If you have employees sit in front of the computer, taking time for it to load, that is wasting resources, because you want it to have equipment that it respond instant, kind of quick time response for the staff they can work with.
And it has slowed down court. I know a few times Shelby had to reboot, and it took forever. So, and I'm not saying that Jonesboro Youth City Government doesn't deserve some, but this is just not the year that we can overfinance stuff. Like, because we're scaled down. So if like halfway through the year, maybe they need some additional funding, we can see where we are. But I would like to prioritize One, funding for citizens that are in need, if we can have that. I don't want to touch the contingency fund and this technology efforts. How many computers are up here?
Up here I would say Ford, easy Ford up there.
I mean, each of these aren't a computer, but how many brain computers do we, I mean, is it 3 up here?
Three.
So that's 3 computers, so that's $4,000 right there just to get this up. And this is a priority. Like, if you don't believe us, come to court on Wednesday and see how it works.
Yeah, the court, this computer up here need to be replaced. I would recommend for next year's, for new computer. Cause these are they may be about 9 years old, 10 years old already.
I think this is just a situation where we all, I mean, there's money that I want here, there, and everything, but I think we cannot go less than $50,000 contingency, and it's scary to just have $50,000 contingency. Like, we've gotten several complaints about our Lee Street digital board.
Right.
So we're trying to make some choices now about, and Mr. Tran will talk to you that, and we're trying to find some funding for that to come in. I mean, I know there are grant funding and options available, and so we've been having to do a significant amount of our work in the city with the significant amount of grants that we received, and so I feel like Jonesboro Youth City Government can do that as well. All right, thank you so much.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Any other budget questions? All right, item C, you want me to go?
Yes. Item C, council to discuss the investigation concerning the ordinance signed on October 22nd, 2025.
Council, do y'all have any discussions or comments before I read something into the record? Okay, great. Good evening. I'm placing the following statement into official record because it concerns serious procedural violations that have occurred within the governance of the city and the legal implications that follow from them. My legal team recently completed a review of documents dated October 22nd, 2025, and emails which I've had in my possession but had not previously analyzed in full consultation with council. That review revealed that Mayor Pro Tem Tracy Messick initiated an outside investigation into the mayor's office before any vote of the council and without any legal authority to do so. The first document that will be shared with this into the record is the formal engagement agreement dated October 22nd, 2025. It'll be significant in regard to the time that Mayor Pro Tem actually submit this to Hall, Booth, and Smith. In that letter, the law firm states that it has been retained to conduct, quote, an independent investigation into allegations recently made against Mayor Danya L. Sarter, and that it will investigate not only alleged financial concerns, but also other physical activities, conduct interviews of elected officials and the city employees, review social media, and expand the investigation based on new information, and treat this as an ongoing investigation process. The engagement letter confirms unequivocally that a private firm was hired to investigate the mayor before any vote occurred, and that the scope of that investigation far exceeds the authority granted later the same day. The second document is the signed ordinance to appoint an independent investigator, also dated October 22nd, 2025. This ordinance authorizes only a limited administrative review of financial transactions between the city and the Downtown Development Authority for fiscal year 2025, and only for the period of January 1st to October 20th, 2025. It does not authorize an investigation of the mayor, an investigation of pre-2025 conduct, personnel matters, political allegations, social media, or any prior disputes. Here's the procedural problem. The ordinance was signed after the engagement letter was already accepted. The law firm was already retained, and the investigation was already underway. And the scope of the investigation had already been defined by Mayor Pro Tem claiming to act on behalf of the entire council, not by the governing body acting lawfully. This is a direct violation of the city charter, which requires a public meeting, a formal motion, a vote of the full council, and compliance with Article 7 procedures before any outside investigation may be appointed. None of that occurred. There was no meeting authorizing Tracy Messick to contact the law firm. There was no public vote approving retention of outside counsel prior to the engagement, and no authority for a single council member to bind the city prior to the vote, and no authorization for an investigation of the mayor prior to the vote. This makes the engagement void and misuse of public funds. Additionally, this process, this is really important, violates a binding order of the Superior Court of Clayton County On January 8, 2024, the court entered a final consent judgment and order which expressly prohibits the City Council for taking any action in any form against the mayor based on prior lawsuit investigation or its finding. It also states that both the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and Clayton County District Attorney found no criminal wrongdoing of the mayor. Despite that, the engagement letter reveals that the law firm was instructed to revisit matters that predate 2025 and are tied directly to allegations addressed in the lawsuit investigation. This is a blatant violation of a standing court order from the Superior Court of Clayton County, regardless of how the investigation is labeled, whether it's ethics, administrative, physical, or otherwise. The implications are severe. Mayor Pro Tem has acted outside her legal authority, engaged in outside counsel without a vote. Taxpayers' funds have been put at risk through an unauthorized contract. The scope of the investigation exceeds any lawful mandate and contradicts the ordinance passed later that same day. The initiation of the investigation violates the final consent judgment. Any use of the Lawson-related materials is expressly prohibited. Any action based on pre-2025 allegation is barred. The entire investigation process is legally compromised and procedurally invalid. Because of these acts were undertaken without a vote, without legal authority, and in violation of a court order, I will be seeking a temporary restraining order to immediately halt all investigatory activity and to protect the city from unlawful expenditures and to enforce compliance with both the charter and the final consent judgment. I'm also directing the following be preserved for legal review. All communications related to the engagement of Hall Booth Smith, all communications between council members concerning the investigation, all drafts, notes, invoices, records exchanged with the law firm, and any materials related to the lawsuit investigation. This matter is not political. This is a matter of law, governance, and compliance with judicial orders. The citizens of Jonesboro deserve a government that acts within a lawful authority, that follows the charter, and that respects the ruling of the Superior Court of Clayton County. This statement is entered into the record to ensure full transparency and to preserve the factual basis for the legal action that must follow at this particular time. Any questions, council?
Mayor,
Yes.
all proper steps were followed in proceeding with this investigation. The council had discussion and a unanimous vote to move forward with this investigation before anyone was contacted to begin this investigation.
No.
So I would like a copy of the statement that you just made.
It'll be entered into the record, and you can have a copy for the minutes, but we'll also, once we get the open records report back, to the time that you sent the October 22nd, 2025, which according to Attorney Dreyer and the email that was forwarded to me was well before the 6 o'clock meeting. Your letter of engagement that clearly engaged, so we'll have all of those.
The letter of engagement did not go into effect until it was signed by council.
But it was
No
already
one
sent to them.
person-
It was already sent to them. We don't have to argue. We're going to argue this in court again. We will argue this in court again.
It was sent to council to sign and to review,
Yeah,
not to.
That's fine. We'll argue all of those facts in court. The second thing that you need to be aware of, the ordinance that was signed had a very clear scope. What this investigator has been allowed to do is far beyond the scope that was signed in the ordinance to appoint an independent investigator. So unfortunately, we're back in court again. All right, there's no further discussion. We can go to the next item. Yes.
So I don't know, there were documents that I saw from the attorney that was shared to me. It was after the city manager interviews, and so I was up here at City Hall, and I don't know if all of council saw it, but that details what the attorney's office was asking for, and it's nothing in from January 2025. It's nothing in 2025 at all. And so I know I wasn't here when we did the actual vote. I came late that evening, but there were clear guidelines that he was supposed to follow, and I don't know who on council he's checking in with, if anybody, because the things that he is asking are things that were already discussed, that y'all argued, that y'all had in our previous case. That was before I even got on council. And so I don't know how we can kind of rein that in, but I would like to, however this goes, he's supposed to stick to a time frame. And some of the things in the records that he was requesting was outside of that time frame. And so I don't know if it's the attorney or one of us that needs to kind of tell him to reel that in, but that to me is the Not that the other things aren't important, but that to me is the clearest violation, because we gave you direct guidelines on what you're supposed to be looking into, and you're outside of that scope.
Because y'all are aware of the sign ordinance that you all signed. I think Councilman Dixon wrote it. And it says, the ordinance authorizes only a limited administrative review of financial transactions between the city and the Downtown Development Authority for fiscal year 2025, only for the period of January 1st, October 20th, 2025. His bill to us clearly defines that we are paying him for things outside of this signed ordinance, as well as the documents that he requested that are totally beyond this amount. I had hoped that we would come to some resolve. We cannot. I mean, well, we have not, so that only recourse, because it's a direct, what he's asking for is direct violation of the existing court settlement agreement. So unless there is a rescission of the current investigation, then that leaves us no choice, and that puts us back at attorney fees for both parties. And yeah, I couldn't have expressed that anymore. I had hoped that the ordinance that we signed would have given clear direction, but he's so beyond the scope of it. Yes.
So is there any way that we can pause it till someone talks to him, legal counsel, maybe Mayor Pro Tem, because y'all already had a relationship, well, not already, but you all started the relationship, but can someone reel him in so that we don't continue to cross lines? Again, anything that happened before I was on council should not be any questions that he's asking. And I saw documentation that he was asking about things before I was on council. That's not what we asked him to do. And he's sending bills. This is how much money I've spent looking into things that occurred before I was on council.
Like, he sent us a bill for where he researched a phone number that easily could have been called, Maria could have called and asked. Like, they billed us an hourly rate to what did he say, to search for a phone number that one phone call we could have given them. There's also a significant amount of money spent searching my social media that clearly does not impact the financial transactions between the city and the Downtown Development Authority between January 1st, but a substantial amount of his bill is searching through previous allegations in news media, I think that's to be exact, and social media. Like, that has nothing to do with what y'all signed the ordinance for, and what I signed that ordinance as well, because it gave a very clear scope.
So I don't know if those documents can be shared, and maybe we can pause it until everyone reviews it and sees just how out of the scope he is, and then we can, whatever the resolution needs to be. But I don't want him to continue, raking in money outside of what we asked him for, at least until you guys can review and see how far outside of the scope of the things he's asking.
And I also think it's important to say that he said the amount of his investigation will run in between $50,000 to $100,000. Did I show y'all that too?
No, but I do remember having an issue with not putting a cap on there, so maybe that's something.
So did you read that? Who had the one that he said 50 to 100,000? And typically when attorneys say 50 to 100,000, they hit about 98,000. They're gonna use it all up. So he said the full scope of the investigation for his big scope would be $50,000 to $100,000. So either one, we're gonna do an insurance claim, which is going to skyrocket our insurance. We just met with Seville. Or it's gonna hit our budget.
Mayor,
And we don't have any more line items for attorney fees.
Mayor, may I say
Sure.
two things? First, anytime there are any allegations, founded or unfounded, I'd have a conflict as representing the city. So I can't get involved. I did ask for the scope because that pertains to all of council. He said in my experience, it'll run 50 to 100,000, but there's not 100,000 cap. It could go beyond that.
Yeah, but also he didn't give us the scope. He never answered the scope. Did he?
Yeah.
Did he ever answer the scope? And and the thing is that I think we need to understand, attorneys don't tell us the scope. We tell the attorneys the scope, and we clearly told him the scope in the ordinance. Financial transactions between the city and the Downtown Development Authority for fiscal year 2025, only for the period of January 1st to 2020. So I don't know if he's talked to you, Mayor Pro Tem, but what he has asked and requested is so far beyond this particular scope. So I don't know what scope we're going with, the scope that we signed, the scope that she engaged him with. Like, I thought the purpose of the ordinance is that it clearly defines the scope. So I don't know what scope we're going to. And then when you asked him for the scope, he didn't really give us a scope. He just came back and said he'll charge us $50,000 to $100,000 to do the scope, which we don't know what the scope is.
I'll send that correspondence, Mayor, to.
Do you want to read, am I accurate with it?
No, I think that's accurate unless something came along later, but I will.
What's his
forward it
name? Campbell?
To mayor and council.
Hall Booth? Philip. Oh, I got it. Do y'all want examples or something? Anybody had those 34 items he was asking for? Here it is. And he never told us, when you asked him what the social media search is for, he never told us how that relates to the scope either, did he?
I don't believe so, but I just want to be accurate, Mayor, so.
So right here, it
This
says scope of
evening,
investigation.
I'll send it to everybody.
Responding to the questions raised in the below email, the scope of the investigation was set forth in my November 12, 2025 email to David, CCU. Nothing has changed regarding the scope of the investigation, so that particular scope was not in line with the ordinance. I anticipated taking longer than expected. Given the rough start and impending holiday, I do not see the investigation closing before the end of January. Given the uncooperativeness of the accounting firms to date and anticipating we have some further detail of uncooperativeness in the future, this may go on into February. There was no discussion of a cap. As mentioned, these things are fluid, and the more difficult the witnesses are, the higher the cost. From my experience and what I see, this investigation is likely to land between $50,000 and $100,000, with, of course, the possibility of it going into the lower or higher range. Yes.
You wanted to list
What is that?
the 30, there was.
Yeah, could you? So remember, the ordinance says that he's only supposed to be investigating the DDA and the financial transaction from October 1. However, he's asking for all documents to and include emails referring, relating, reflecting, or otherwise mentioning SAFE's call for the investigation. Assistant Chief Audrey Dunlap's personnel file, Todd Coyt's personnel file, emails from and to Mayor Sarda regarding the city of Tahoe. They mentioned Beyonce. I told y'all Beyonce on another concert series. Something about an outdoor participation. Last 4 city managers' emails to and from Mayor Sarda. Last 4 economic directors. I don't even think we had 4. Last 4 economic directors' email to Mayor Sarda. Andrew Simpson's emails. Andrew Simpson's personnel file. All minutes and recordings to any minute with the issue of whether the Sarda was entitled to health insurance. We still on the health insurance stuff? All emails between Mayor Sarda and LaTanya Wiley. It's about 4 items regarding the Tahoe. Now, there is some items that 2025 budget items for the 2025 celebration. I mean, there's some that go through there. City's written policy on credit cards. So they gave us 34 items. The cost that it would take for someone to come pull and extract, and what do you call it? Redact. Thank y'all, legal people. The cost that it would pay for somebody to come in to pull and redact all information from last city manager's emails to and from the mayor, anything related to my email, you're talking about $5,000 just for somebody to come in to pull the emails, to hand go through, to what? Redact all appropriate information. And that's not even in his fees. That's what we have to pay for that. Because it says last 4 city managers' emails, so you can't turn over every interaction. You have to go through, and help me, Attorney Dreyer, am I right? I can't just say, here go all the emails. I got to go through, and it has to connect to something. And there is some personnel information that also has to be redacted. That's done by hand. So the amount of hours that it would take to do this, 2025 with the emails, so that shouldn't be hard. Minutes and recording, that shouldn't be hard. Like emails from and to Mayor Sarter regarding the use of the city Tahoe, we would have to bring in a company, Mr. Tran, hopefully you got one, I just did it for something else, and they pull all mine and then give us a set of emails, then we go through and see what's client privilege or not. So we're looking at about $10,000 just in computer programs, because Ms. Chandrella is not going to sit here and go through all the documents. Any documents including allowing or discussing in any way the mayor's purported use of the city law enforcement personnel. Y'all tell me how that got anything to do with this one. And so it's 34 items, of which, how many did I identify was related directly to?
I think 4 or 5.
4 to 5 were actually related to 2025. So I don't know what conversations, and I don't think, because he wouldn't jeopardize his law, what do y'all call law stuff, his law license, bar license, by going rogue. So apparently he is getting, that's why we got to get an ORR for everybody's emails and phones, because apparently he's getting his direction from somebody. I don't think he just woke up and decided, how did he even know about a city Tahoe? We didn't even tell him we drove Tahoe. How did he know about Beyonce? How did he even, so somebody's talking to him outside of the scope. Because the only scope that we can rely on is the sign ordinance, which is very clear. And so that's why we're going to find ourselves back in court in litigation and find out who's talking and giving him direction beyond what was voted on by the council. And so we got to get to the bottom of that. Because I promise you, he didn't know about a Tahoe, a Beyonce concert, or any of that. He probably didn't know about SAFE. So some of y'all giving some interviews, talking to him. All right, we can go to the next item, but unless something is resolved, my attorneys, and also let me just say this, I have prohibited staff from speaking to this attorney until we can secure and approve legal counsel, because David cannot, it's a conflict of interest because it is an allegation for David to serve as counsel for any representative. So at some point, we need to vote on and appoint legal counsel to represent staff as they're interviewed for this investigation. Y'all want to approve that money tonight? Or how y'all want to proceed? Otherwise, the uncooperativeness that he's talking about is that I can't acquire legal counsel for staff to participate in interviews. Other than that, we have been nice enough to say, if it's a factual question, we'll give them a factual answer. But Tab, and I think he must have been referring to Tab and Tab. Like, Tab and Tab are not obligated up under law to cooperate with him.
No, you didn't contact them. They contacted Plant Moran.
So he said in the thing,
Certain stuff, and then it was like, we can't be going back and forth with y'all like that.
because on here he said, given the uncooperativeness of the accounting firms to date, not Plant Moran. So the only person he could talk about is not being cooperative is Tab and Tab. Did he reach out to Kozak? I don't think so. It's not on his bill. And also, he's speaking to Plant Moran. If you all want some independent investigations, I voiced my concern with Plant Moran, and Plant Moran voiced their concern also about sharing information. There's supposed to be 2 clearly investigations, and so Plant Moran is not going to talk to him. All right, so we got a lot of things that happen. We got attorney fees for the filing, we got attorney fees for staff, we got all kind of stuff. We got money to get the TRO, not the TRO, all of these emails, because I'm telling you, I do not have staff that can sit and go through, read it again, emails between.
Redact.
Yeah, redact. And I hope y'all understand that logistically. There have been some emails that we had to get, but it's usually like 3 or 4 emails, and even then, she has to take them, and there's certain legal things that have to be taken out. Now you're talking about all of the mayor's communications, and so what happens is when you put the search engine, it may be something that I spoke with somebody about regarding Chief Cato, not related to what they're saying, so that means we have to go in and pull that as not relevant. There might be personnel information that has to be redacted. There might be client, what do you call that? Client privilege? Y'all so good, attorney-client privilege, thank you. So either we could ask, we could entertain a vote to legally halt the investigation until we can work through all of these things, get some parameters on money, because right now he going forward $50,000 to $100,000. And then there would not be a TRO, and maybe whoever's been talking to him can stop talking to him and bring him here. Like, we ain't even seen him. Y'all seen him? I ain't seen him. All righty. Are there any votes or motions or anything to move forward? No, it can be made tonight to just put a halt and that no additional proceedings until we can get some guidelines, get some attorneys in place, get a quote on how much it would cost. Well, Attorney Dreyer, who would talk to him to bring him back to the scope?
So it's a really good question. I feel a little hamstrung, just because.
What that mean? What does that mean?
Hamstrung, I feel, my hands are tied.
Okay.
Because again, I don't want to wade into a conflict. There is an ordinance that was passed.
And so if he continues to go through that, then
Right.
I have a right to file a bar complaint against him, going beyond the scope. So we can agree that we push him to the ordinance and the ordinance only, and then give him a scope. I mean, then give him a cap. Yeah, a cap on the finances, and then allocate money for funding for an independent attorney to be with counsel as they're interviewed. Or unless y'all are telling me that y'all are okay with him going outside the sign ordinance. How y'all feel about that?
I would, Mayor, I would like to see the email that you received, because I haven't received anything from this investigator. I have received nothing of any request. I would like to see.
Yeah, he wouldn't request it from you. He did it as an open records request because I wouldn't give it to him. So we can go print the open records request right now.
So the information that you were just reading that was received in an email, where did that come from? Because
Oh,
I
that
did
came
not
for Attorney
receive-
Dreyer. But some of that,
Communicating with Attorney Freitas.
So none of these, so you sent that information to the mayor, but nobody else on the council, correct?
correct, just like there's some emails you sent to him that
I'm
you didn't send
sorry.
to everybody on the council.
I'm
Sent
sorry.
it to Attorney Freitas and copied the mayor. He knew she was
That's
on
what I'm
it.
saying, but nobody else on the council was privy to any of this information but yourself and the mayor.
Well, that's why I'm
Correct.
bringing it to y'all now.
I'm sorry?
That's why I'm bringing it to y'all now. We didn't have a meeting before. I mean, this was sent on Thursday, November 20th. That's why my intent when I got this, that's why I gave Attorney Dreyer a series of questions to ask him. I didn't call and ask him. I asked Attorney Dreyer to do it. He put it in writing. I said, send it to me so I can share it with council. And that's exactly what I'm doing now, sharing it with you all.
And Mayor, if it's okay with you,
I mean, you can forward it to him, but
I can do it tonight. There's not a lot of correspondence, so I'll be happy to.
yeah, and it wasn't like we were trying to hide it. I was very specific in asking him questions. He outlined, I said, you ask him, because I don't want to ask him. I asked him as our legal counsel to outline the counsel, and when he got him, now I'll be honest with you, I didn't look at him till the day before Thanksgiving because I was a little behind on my thing, so that's another reason why. But yeah, no, that's why I'm reading it to y'all. I'm not trying to hide it. And I shared it with, did I read those emails to y'all last week when y'all were in my office? Yeah, they were in my office on Tuesday, Monday, or whatever, Wednesday.
Monday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Monday before Thanksgiving, when I received it.
So if I may, Mayor,
Mhm.
so two things. First, for Attorney Dreyer, you said that you reached out to him initially because, or you didn't feel as much that your hands were tied, is what I'm assuming, because asking him about the scope had to do with the entire council. So could you be the person to say, we need you to, just to reinforce, we need you to stick to the scope of the ordinance that was provided to you? That's not getting in the middle, that's just, hey, this is what the council that I represent asked you to do. We just like you to reread the ordinance and stick within the dates in the ordinance.
I feel like I can reiterate, well, I don't have to reiterate, I can show a copy of the ordinance, send it to him, and ask that he stay in line with that. I have no problem doing that.
Okay.
Beyond that, if there is a will of the council and a vote, then I'm happy, that I'm authorized to transmit that to Attorney Freitas also.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I think that for now, so that everyone doesn't get, I'm going to make a motion, I'm gonna speak it out first so everybody sees where I'm going. I'm gonna make a motion to halt the legal investigation until next week. That gives everybody a chance to read their emails and hopefully come up with creative solutions to the funding issues that we may face as far as having someone to represent staff when they're being interviewed.
And Mayor,
I'm sorry?
and Mayor, you have to pay for mine too.
To pay for representation for people before they get interviewed. If we can't think of creative solutions for that, then I will make a motion next week to prolong it until the next meeting.
All right, so let me make sure, there's a motion on the floor to
Haven't made it
halt all, to inform,
Haven't made it yet.
no, I'm kind of repeating before. No, I'm sorry, there's not a motion on the floor, but I'm hearing Councilwoman Miller say that she would like to consider halting all the investigative process from Hall, Booth, and Smith immediately effective this evening, which means there can be no billable hours until we convene in a week. I mean, and then you would have to notify him tonight that the council voted to halt the investigative process that was signed consent on October 22nd until further notice.
If the council passes an ordinance, because we did this originally as an ordinance.
Which should have been as a resolution, but.
Yeah, that's what I normally would have, but you can do it either way. It will be on MuniCode. We're actually kind of going through that with MuniCode right now,
But it shouldn't, this first one shouldn't have been an ordinance. It clearly should have been a resolution.
it would normally be a resolution.
Correct.
But if there was an ordinance tonight asking for a halt,
Could we not do a resolution to the current ordinance, so at least we can get it on the right track at some point? Can't you do a resolution to an ordinance? Can't we resolve that the previous ordinance?
ordinance gonna take precedent over a resolution.
But I don't want to keep doing an ordinance for something that shouldn't have been an ordinance in the first place.
I know, but because it was an ordinance in the first place.
So we just keep being wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
However, y'all understand that it should have been a resolution and not an ordinance. So you're saying that we could approve an ordinance tonight to halt the investigation, the investigative process by Halt, Booth, and Smith related to the formal engagement letter dated October 22nd, 2025.
Mayor, I'd say an ordinance to halt the investigation by Attorney Freitas for 7 days, and in that time to
I think we need to do
fully
8 days
flesh out
because
the
it doesn't need to start until the Monday, until next Tuesday. So if you say 7 days, he'll start working at
Fair
6
enough.
o'clock.
You're sure, then you're right. 8
Yeah, he'll
days.
start calculating them hours.
8 days,
8 days.
that's right. Until there's and then we can just say that with the understanding on the record that this is just to get a better sense of the budget and the scope of the investigation, and whether the scope of the investigation is in line with the ordinance that was drafted and passed by council.
Yeah, but the ordinance supersedes any other engagement letter from Mayor Pro Tem, because that's what we signed.
It does, no
Okay.
question.
And so right now, the scope is very clear.
Right, the ordinance is very clear.
All right, you ready for your motion? Okay. Into the microphone.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion for us to have an ordinance to halt Hall, Booth, and Smith's investigation for 8 days to give the council time to review the document so that we can have a better sense of the scope of the investigation and the budget needs that may come from it.
Yeah, council member, and I think that there's been a good record of why we're doing this 8-day pause, and I think it would just need a motion to pass an ordinance halting Hall Booth from doing the investigation for the next 8 days.
Okay, start over.
Is that okay?
I would like to pass an ordinance to halt Hall, Booth, and Smith for the next 8 days.
So there's a motion on the floor to suspend the investigative process conducted by Hall Booth Smith as outlined in the formal engagement letter dated October 22nd, along with the signed ordinance also dated on the same date for 8 days. And this gives time for the attorney to send him a letter defining the scope, and then also for the council to decide how we're gonna pay for this.
That's right.
Okay. And to put a cap and all of that stuff. And then once they put a cap on it, then we have to get with the finance person to find out whether we wanna go pull it from our Georgia Fund money. All right, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Well, then there's a lawsuit.
Open it for discussion.
All right, any discussion?
It's 8 days. I don't understand why we would put ourselves in jeopardy of litigation. I was on the other side of the dais last time this occurred, but I know litigation happened. I don't know what the settlement said or didn't say, but I know it happened, and I don't want it to happen again. And so if we can pause it for 8 days, I don't understand why everyone isn't jumping to do that so that we all can review everything. And then on Tuesday, it starts back up again. But
Yeah, and I just want to be clear along the lines with Asia Miller. You all are consistent about doing things the right way. This was not done the right way. And you have somebody that's spending money to investigate things outside of the ordinance that Councilman Dixon wrote. So we can either do it this way and try to save some money, or end up spending his $100,000 and the amount of money that's going to cover for TRO. And y'all know we've been through this before. And the fact, I want y'all to be clear, if he continues how he's going, it is in direct violation of a settlement agreement signed in the Superior Court of Clayton County. Like, I don't understand how y'all don't get that. Like, y'all are sitting up here on a sofa. I don't know how y'all, apparently y'all interviewed with, how many of y'all interviewed with the attorney? How many of y'all interviewed with the attorney? None of y'all?
I've spoke with him.
Okay. No, he said in that thing, the interviews are going well. Let me read it to you. He said, interviews are going well. So I can tell you, he knew nothing about a Tahoe. He knew nothing about a Beyonce concert. So somebody said something, and so y'all are talking and engaging him, and you won't admit to it. So now we're gonna have to bring him to a stance, and it's not client privilege in a superior court where you're going to violate a standing settlement agreement. Somebody talk to him.
Mayor.
So let me finish. Somebody talk to him. Based on those 4 items, somebody talk to him. And now all y'all saying, we ain't talk to him? You said you had a little conversation? Well, that little conversation gonna have to be held in record in superior court. Yes, ma'am?
Okay, I understand the direction that you're wanting to go with the halt. However, I feel like we should get the information that we have not had, have an opportunity to review that this week. While he can continue his investigation, we can halt it next Monday if we.
Why can't we halt it now? His investigation is we already proven that it's outside the scope.
Because I don't have that proof. You have that proof. The attorney has that proof.
Well, no, we just read it to you. We'll read it to him again. Read it to him again. You want him to continue. I can give you let's stop right now. Let's take I make a motion to take a recess, and I'll go print all those copies for you. I'll entertain a motion to go into recess so we can pull those documents for you all to review. Can I get a motion for going to recess? Can I get a second?
No.
So it's like you don't want the facts. Like, you won't even take time for you said you didn't have them. So I'm saying, let's halt them. What difference is 8 days gonna make? I promise you in 8 days, because he's watching this, he gonna run up his bill. He running it. And then meanwhile, because y'all didn't halt it, then my attorney started running up bills that y'all are gonna have to pay. The judge has already ruled that anything in violation to the Superior Court settlement, attorney fees are paid. So now I will begin. I thought I was being nice, but not being nice, but just saying like, hey y'all, let's look at this. Let's look at it. We agreed on a signed ordinance of which I signed. I said I want you to investigate transactions between the city and the Downtown Development Authority between January 1st and October 20th. But what I am saying for the record, no, I do not want you to investigate something that had already been investigated, that we've already paid $30,000 for a judge to say you can't do nothing with it. No, I don't want that. But if you just can't be wrong right now, and you can't halt it, like what is, he already said, the man already said, and I can go print it, but you don't want me to go print it because you won't give me a recess. He already said it won't be done till January sometime. Because we had uncooperative finance people. I'm denying him interviews. So it's not going to be done to January. So what is 8 days going to make? What is 8 days going to make? Other than, let me tell you what 8 days is going to make. He, on average, is billing us about $2,000 to $3,000 a day. So let's add Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. That's like $12,000. Have y'all, let me go get the bills. Like, why can't we take a break? Why we can't take a break? Y'all don't want to see the facts? Why we can't take a break? I'll go get you the open records request. I'll go get you his last bill to show you where he charged us to go get somebody's number, that he's searching my social media, that he's looking at previous allegations of which have nothing to do with Juneteenth. I can go show you all that. So let's entertain a motion. Can you put it on the floor and let's see if it passed?
Motion to go to recess so that we can have the documents needed to continue our conversation.
I second that motion. I got a question. Are these the documents that Attorney Dry was going to email us today?
We can print that as well.
Is that what we're talking about right now?
No, we were talking about the ORR, the 34 items that he requested that clearly is outside of the scope, as well as his first bill to us that shows some of the things he's billing for that's outside of the scope. So there's a motion on the floor. It's been appropriately second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All in favor? Any Okay.
So I guess my question, was that okay to do if we were in the middle of discussion?
Oh,
on the
we were
last
already in the
motion?
middle, because, ignore that vote, I'm sorry. So you want to go and call for the vote? You all always want to say taxpayers' money, taxpayers' money, taxpayers' money. If we continue this, we are spending taxpayers' money. All we're saying is halt it and let's do it right.
I think we're cutting off our nose to spite our face a little bit here, and I understand that this probably came as a shock. My concern is that within these 8 days until, again, with him going outside of the scope, even things that she read, to me, that's outside of the scope, right? Because we said between the DDA, January and October. So any of the questions are, he's doing the wrong thing. We're paying him to do the wrong thing, and we should be able to have a conversation with him to say, hey, let's get this together. And in the meantime, if things are correct, again, wasn't privy to the settlement or whatever agreement y'all had before, but if it is correct that he's doing the wrong thing, in that we're going to continue to allow him to make these mistakes, which will continue to allow whatever fight that her and her attorney are going to have against us as counsel. This is my first time in that type of rodeo, but I don't particularly want to do it if we don't have to do that. So we can stop him from doing the wrong thing until we figure it out together. I don't understand why we would risk that.
Can I, for the record, if we don't mind, put this on the record? Counsel, as I call your name, please let me know if you've spoken, communicated via email, phone, direct conversation with anyone from Hall Booth Smith. Councilman Alfred Dixon?
No, I have not.
Councilman Bobby Lester?
No, I have not.
Councilman Asia Miller?
No, I have not.
Councilman Don Dixon?
Nope.
Council Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Councilman Powell?
No.
Okay. So for the record, the only person that has spoken to him, and that's not client privilege. If we were to ask him who he's spoken to, he just can't tell us the content of what he spoke to.
It would be the council's attorney-client privilege.
Okay. So he would tell us as a group, yes, I've spoken to that.
So,
Yeah, can you please send him an email also and ask him what council members have he spoken to,
okay.
via email or direct? All righty, let's go to the next item. Oh, I'm sorry. So there's a motion on the floor to suspend the investigation for 8 days so that we can get some clarity on some things. And it's been appropriately second. And also, I should ask this too. Council, who is in favor of him going beyond the scope of January 1st to October 20th. Are y'all okay with that, him going beyond the scope?
I think you're getting out of line there.
No, I'm asking. No,
No,
it's,
you're getting out of line.
no, you about to get out of line.
No.
No, I didn't ask you, so let's go this way. So, any council members okay, because it's not out of line to get the facts straight from what you're going to spend taxpayers' money. So what I'm hearing you say is that it is okay for the next 4 or 5 days until Monday or whenever for him to go outside the scope of the ordinance. Because we have yet to give him instructions to say, stick to this script. So we have basically given him the authority to do what the heck he wants for the next 4 or 5 days because y'all won't stop it. I mean, it's for the record, that's as clear and dry. You have the opportunity now to stop him going outside the scope, to stop us paying him to go outside the scope. And you say, nope, let's keep it going. And just for those that were not with us, we did this in 2023 and it cost the city $200,000 because they kept the ball rolling in a lane that it shouldn't have been rolling in, and the Superior Court of Clayton County said it was done improperly and therefore that investigation was sealed. And that cost us about $220,000. I think you looked it up for me. How much was it, Ms. Kennedy? It was $30,000 for an investigation that can't never nothing be done with, except people look at it and read it. And then it was my attorney and it was their attorney. So now we're about to go into that same thing again. But I got employees that need to be paid $21 an hour. We got raises and we got stuff broke around here. All right, next on the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor? Any opposed? There you go. So do y'all want to have a discussion now about a cap on his service? Yes.
So can I clarify that vote was for the motion
To halt the
To halt.
investigation for 8 days.
43?
43.
Okay.
Is it 43? Yes. Do y'all want to put a cap on how much he can charge us in the next 8 days?
I couldn't hear your question.
Do you want to put a cap on how much he can charge us in the next 8 days?
If you've put a cap on not letting him speak to anyone, I don't think the billing's gonna be that much in the next 8 days.
No, he hasn't spoke to somebody, and he done sent us a bill. And the reason why I put a cap on him speaking to someone, he shouldn't be able, you can't participate in an investigation, it shouldn't be. We've already ran into this before. So to prevent, we have been advised that that staff members, along with myself and even with you all, should have legal counsel there. It's a conflict for David to be there. So I'm not going to jeopardize staff. And here again, so this is what happens. Staff A sits with Attorney Booth, and staff Attorney Phillip asks the staff A, hey, tell me about the mayor going to Africa. Well, that's not related to the scope. So my staff can't say, well, no, I'm not going to answer that because that's not related to the scope. That's the job of the attorney. And so because this attorney is already outside the scope of the ordinance, no, I'm not going to allow counsel to sit and be questioned all outside of the scope that we agreed to. Do y'all understand that? Like, because right now he could come and ask anybody, tell me about the Tahoe. Well, that don't have anything to do with the ordinance. So who's going to be in there to tell the staff person, you don't have to answer that. Apparently, this attorney needs to be reeled in. So let's be clear. While staff so far has not participated in the investigation, because I have not felt comfortable, and they have not, many of them have not felt comfortable. This little guy's a little aggressive too, to staff, so to say the least. But that's why. So y'all don't want to put it, so I'm hearing Mayor Pro Tem say she don't want to put a cap on it, just let them go. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't understand what you said.
So, but Councilman Don Dixon is right. Do y'all want to put a cap on how much this man can charge us in the next 8 days? Yes or no? Nope. So for the record, Don Dixon doesn't want to put a cap on what we pay this attorney. I'm sure he's listening. Attorneys like that. Y'all giving him carte blanche. Anybody else? So we're not going to put a cap on them. Can we approve funding for attorneys so that staff can begin to participate in the investigation? Y'all don't want to pay for it. So Attorney Dwyer, do we just file that with Seville and get them to pay it? Maria, is that kind of what they said they can do? When we talked to them briefly? So we'll follow up with Seville, and then we'll have to file a claim, which is gonna send our insurance up.
I don't wanna make an motion to approve the staff to talk or to pay for an attorney for staff to talk to him until we have his scope defined or until we know that he understands his scope. Just so that the interviews aren't extra long with questions that he shouldn't be asking. I just want to ensure that he knows what he should be doing, start tomorrow, tonight, and that he's not continuing to do things that we didn't ask him to do, and we're not going to be charged for things that we did not ask him to do.
Well, we asked for like a 3-day halt. Can we do a 3-day halt, y'all? And then maybe Attorney Dwyer can hurry up and get it done? Maybe 3 days, maybe?
I don't understand the issue. We set an 8-day halt, so automatically it was gonna start back. I don't know if you all were scared that this is gonna stop something going forward or prolong. It's gonna automatically start. It's after 8 days, he's free again, and hopefully we did what we were supposed to do in 8 days.
So here's what I think they're afraid of. They're thinking that they're afraid that they won't be able to investigate things like my use of the Tahoe or me going to the Beyonce concert. Because apparently Mayor Pro Tem shared all that with him because she's the only person that talked to him. Unless, if she didn't share that with him, then he read the Tracy Lawson report and pulled his own stuff out, and then again, he's operating outside his scope, and we need to deal with the bar on him. So one of two things happened. He read the Tracy Lawson report, or you know what? Maybe all of those, the hours that he was paying us to look at my social media and to search previous news reports on my allegation, maybe he found it on his own. But even still, y'all, attorneys don't do that. Like, they shouldn't be watching TV to figure out what they want to put in the scope. That's like patent. We might as well just give them the checkbook and the pen and just say, let us know when you finish. Unless Mayor Pro Tem told them, because she's the only one to talk to him. But he has a clear scope. So what I'm hearing counsel say, we don't want him to follow the clear scope. We just want him to do anything he want to do. So at this point, Attorney Dwyer, don't even worry about it. We'll just file a TRO tomorrow and go from there. We'll make sure he ain't the only attorney making money. All right, let's go to the next item.
New business A,
Yes.
council to discuss 2026 housing commitments.
I don't see it. Where is it?
How do you think about it?
Oh, I have it. Give me 1 second. It's not in the packet, so it's on my phone. Can we move that to old business for next week? Because it's not, my Wi-Fi is not picking up. Let me try one more thing though. Hold on a second. So just to tell you what it is, and we can move the vote. I participated in the Housing Leadership Academy with Atlanta Region Commission, and so each city that participated, we participated along with, let me see, Dr. Lee, Madam Chair was also a member, and so each person that was in the academy is required to come up with housing commitments that we run by them. And so we are supposed to get these housing commitments approved, and they're simple housing commitments. I just didn't memorize them, so we'll move that to old business for you all to consider. But it's part of being with the Housing Leadership Academy through ARC, and they're just housing commitments that we looked at the data that says, hey, you know, next year, but it's not a resolution or an ordinance, it's just saying that we are committed to the following. All right, thank you.
Okay. Item B, council to consider a resolution regarding a budget transfer from poll workers and elections to the building and facility maintenance line item in order to cover the cost of renovations at 173 Cloud Street that was previously approved by council.
So I think it's gonna cost like $22,000 to get that, all the work done at that house. And so that's what we wanted to do with that money in the poll workers and elections. We left enough in the elections to pay the bill that comes from the county. I ain't gotten that bill yet, but there will be enough left in that line item in elections to pay that bill.
Any questions, council?
Mayor,
Yes.
so if you look at the budget amendment thing, the paper that we got, you're showing the original amount budgeted for each of those line items. But there was money spent for the election, even though it wasn't the full amount. We did have to pay Clayton County
She just
to
said
run our
that.
election. And I'm not seeing that reflected here.
I'm sorry, talking to Mike, she can't hear. She did say that she left enough in there to pay when we get the bill. We have not gotten the bill. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that we did leave enough money in the elections
Talking to
line.
Mike.
We did leave enough money in the elections line to pay the bill when it comes from Clayton County. That's the reason I didn't take all of it out of the elections line. I took the amount that was in the poll workers, and then I took some of it out of the elections line to come up with the other 12,000.
And I think our bill was like 12,000. You looked at
Yeah,
the
you told me it
invoice.
was gonna be like about 12,000, so we left enough in there to make sure we can cover that bill. Okay.
Do we have invoices showing what it's going to cost to do these renovations?
Yes, we presented those last week. Did we present those? We presented those last week when y'all approved them. No, not last week. I'm sorry, last month. So last month, you all approved the renovation amount not to exceed. And so we have 2 invoices and we decided to go with Lowe's. And I think, wasn't that in the packet last week, the Lowe's invoice? Last month, I'm sorry. Feels like last week. Yeah, everything was in there except for how much the appliances were gonna cost.
Okay, did we get those numbers?
They were in the packet last month when we voted to approve it.
You just said we had everything but the cost of the appliance.
Yeah, because we have not, we're gonna buy those, you get the best price like when we get ready to buy them.
Okay.
So like if we go to a Scratch and Dent, if we go to Jonesboro Appliance, so we just have not shopped for appliances. It'll be a stove and a refrigerator, no washer and dryer.
And so the amount that the amount that's being requested will include the appliances as well?
No,
That'll be a separate amount?
we're not sure. Last month, and you might need to get the minutes, we approved up to a certain amount that would include the repairs, plus there was some talk of having to do a termite inspection. So I'm not sure if we'll have enough for appliances, which is why we did not include that, because the repairs and the termite, didn't we talk about a termite? Okay. Because those were the priorities. And then after we get that, we'll be in the next budget year, and then we'll make the purchase on the refrigerator and the stove. Is that what everybody else understood? Okay. Marcus, did you understand anything different? We approved up to a certain amount, which we felt would be enough to cover all of the repairs and plus have some money to go toward a termite repair, a termite inspection. Inspection, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, inspection. All right. Council, any other questions on this? Could this go to the consent agenda? It's consent. For everybody over here, consent. All right, next on the item. I don't even want to talk about
Item
this one.
C, council to discuss replacement of the digital signage at Lee Street Park.
Mr. Tran, we're just gonna wait on this. And you're even talking about $50,000 right now until we pay these attorney fees. I'm sorry, Mr. Tran. Item D.
How do you what's the results for item C?
Item C, we can move it to old business. We can keep it there.
Okay. Item D, council to discuss an ordinance regarding Lee Street Park rules.
Yeah, and as Chief is coming, we've been having conversations just wanting to make our rules at all 3 of our parks consistent. So Chief took a picture of all 3 parks and they're pretty inconsistent, so.
Yes, so there's some inconsistency with the time of the parks opening and closing. We feel to better structure those timeframes, we have the new signage made for all the parks across the board. And so there's no confusion. It'll be read from dawn till dusk, and that will be updated monthly through the seasonal changes. Because as the season changes, the time fluctuates as to when dawn and dusk is. So we'll Google that, get it sent out to everybody, and announce the time frames for the park closure.
And Chief will announce that internally, but we'll also put it on our social media to say, like, for the month of September, parks will close at open and close. Because we had one part that said 9 o'clock, Lee Street says 9.
Lee Street says 9, Massengale says
5.
dawn to dusk, and Battleground says
5
certain
o'clock.
months it's 9 to 5, and other months it's 8 to 7:30, I think.
And so we just need new signs, and when you see the pictures of the signs too, they're, like, some of you can't even read. So we're gonna get a consistent park sign for all of them, and then have consistent rules. And there's some other rules that we're looking at as far as like electric outlet usage and things like that.
Yeah, because rules are a big thing when it comes to enforcing those rules. Some parks have a long list, and other parks just say, you have a dog on a leash that's no longer than 6 feet, but it doesn't mention no drugs or alcohol, or no discharging of firearms, things like that that are important to the safety and well-being of the park goers.
But this evening, Council, Chief, you're just requesting that we consider changing all park operation hours to dawn and dusk to be updated seasonally.
That's correct.
Not the sign updated. The sign will say dawn to dusk.
Yeah, the sign will say dawn to dusk, and then we will make that announcement through our social media and things like that.
Council, is that
I
okay?
got a question.
Yes, Councilman Powell?
What restrictions we have on electric scooters and bicycles?
So there is a sign on one of the parks that says no motorized vehicles.
Yeah.
So that's something that we would need to discuss, because there are small electric scooters that the children ride while their parents are walking the track. So that's something that we really need to take in consideration. We really can hinder a parent who's bringing their kid and actually supervising their kid that are doing actual activities.
Well, the ones that are a problem are teenagers, and they're flying. They're going 25 miles an hour.
Yes, sir.
And not obeying any of the laws of the road either.
So-
Stop signs, what have you.
We're talking
And
park
in
or
the
the
park,
streets?
just, freestyling.
Yes, sir. So that's
It's a
getting
problem.
consistency with those park rules and the signage will help us be able to enforce that accordingly.
And also looking at what other trending in parks, like, do you say motorcycles and mopeds? Because like hoverboards, like, are they appropriate? So we just need some time. The biggest thing was implementing a dawn to dusk time. The other things the chief will be working on, and we decided we probably wouldn't have them until January.
Yeah, we're gonna have a long list of park rules to discuss, because drones is another big one. We've had some incidents where drones are flying right up to the windows on the outside of the building. But we also have instances where people are flying rather large drones over rather large crowds. If that drone crashes, it's gonna cause severe injury to someone beneath it, and they're not supposed to do it. But we don't have anything that says they can't. It's the FAA rules, and that's a whole nother thing. So we wanna make sure that we have clear park rules that we can enforce here.
So we're asking for consideration of dusk to dawn at this particular time. Can that go to the consent agenda?
Good.
Yes, please.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Letter E, council to consider a resolution regarding a budget transfer from cemetery and other professional services to building and facility maintenance in order to cover the cost of damages to signage at Lee Street Park.
Okay.
Is that the electronic sign?
Yeah.
That's the same.
That trend?
Same discussion that we just moved to old business.
Yeah, we need to move to old business because the account lines that I put in there, those aren't the account lines that I needed to use. So I need to use a different account line to pay for that.
Okay, but that is for the, when
For
you
the
say,
signage.
for the electronic sign or
Electronic
signage?
sign.
Okay.
Electronic sign.
Okay, so let's move that to old, and we may halt on that just to,
Okay.
once we see about these legal fees.
Okay.
All right, yes.
also 1553-1171. You're saying that the original budget was $10,685. According to ours, it was $2,000. Plus, you had already spent $2,270. So you're in the hole.
Okay, like I said, that was, those two accounts, I couldn't use them to do this anyway. So I just forgot to send Sandrella an email to tell her just to take this one off for this week. So I'm gonna straighten this out on the budget. So I just forgot to tell her to take it off.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. I know you're doing a lot over there. We had a rough week last week. Oh, was it the week before that? All right.
All right.
Item
letter-
F.
Letter F, council to consider fee schedule changes relative to new state requirements regarding building permit fees.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item was previously presented August 2024. However, it's just being represented to perfect the record just to ensure that the correct fee schedule is adopted regarding building permit fees.
And so when would you like these, if we vote on it next week and it moves to the consent agenda, when would these go effective? January 1st, after we change systems and, add them into the systems and stuff?
Yeah, I can get with the building officials to confirm if they can be done before, but at earliest January.
Okay. I mean, I would like to post it, so let's that way we can post notifications and everything. Council, can this go to consent agenda?
Mayor?
Yes.
The schedule that was attached compared to the one that was presented to us in 2024, were there any significant, because the writing is so small, especially on the prior one, were there any significant fee increases or changes?
No
that we need
changes.
to
It
be
was the
aware of?
exact same schedule that was presented. So,
It's the exact same?
exact same, yes.
Okay, and so this is gonna keep us with HB 461, we need to pass this?
Yes, we need to be in compliance.
And it's just for new builds, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, I want to just clarify. This is not the fee schedule that we talked about just for our overall fees, is it?
No, this is just specific to
Okay,
building
that's what I thought.
permits.
Okay, we're gonna have that in January.
The entire fee schedule, yes, I can work on that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that's what this one. Okay, thank you so much. Next on the agenda item.
Letter G, council to consider a renewal contract between Luminary Media Works and the city of Jonesboro, Georgia for IT services.
Council, this is a contract that we received from Luminary Media Works in the city of Jonesboro. I will tell you that we have not had any concerns, and if there were any concerns, they were minor, and we were able to work it out collaboratively. Luminary Works definitely Media Works feels like a part of the team. I feel like the way we've executed the contract with the number of hours on site has been sufficient, and I'm sure we get a few extra hours on occasion to have them here in the building. Are there any questions or anything? I would ask that we can approve this. And it would be another 12-month contract.
Mayor?
Yes.
I just have one question, not about the actual contract, but where is this reflected in the upcoming budget? Is this included in the 2026 budget?
It is, and we decided to move it. Where do we move it? I don't know. I can't remember.
We didn't move it, the line item that it was in the year before.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Come back to the mic.
Oh, we didn't move it, we just increased that line item because for some reason, it was in 2025, it got reduced to 40,000, and so they were still paying Mr. Tran out of that line item, and it made it just go really over budget. So this year, we just make sure to get that line item up to where it needs to be.
Professional services.
Professional services.
Up under city administration.
It's.
I mean, the city side.
Yes, under the city administration,
Operations or something.
operations like that, but it's not professional services, I don't think. I'm not sure but what it is, but we make sure we put enough money in there this year so that it wouldn't go so far over budget like it has this year.
Thank you. And also just to be aware that there is a cost savings that we save overall by utilizing the services because we've cut down on our net planner for, is the second year in a row, Tran? A year and a half. Council, are y'all okay with this going to consent agenda? Oh, yes.
Gotcha. Thank you, Mayor. This is in regards to the additional services. Just wanted to make sure, I know it says specialized support for council and public meetings. Just wanted to see, do we need to add something in here for specific for JYCG meetings? I know it's a separate meeting, but do we need to add something in there specific for JYCG meetings so that they can be live as well?
Yeah, that would be outside the scope. So so we would have to discuss the hourly rate. So, Trent, would you give me a proposal? Because you all meet monthly. Do you all meet 12 months? Or I know there's some months y'all off.
Yeah, we probably use 2 months to do onboarding.
Okay.
So we don't have our meetings.
So 10 months of 2 hours live streaming, I think your rate is like $100, $200 an hour? I would like it as a separate contract, just in case if anything changes or there's a cancellation that is billed separately. Like, we would do it, but I don't want, we use everything that's in here. So set up y'all go an hour, Councilman Dixon? 2 hours?
Say that one more time.
Y'all go an hour or 2 hours?
2 hours.
So 2 hours, so that's 20, yeah, so we'll talk tomorrow, but we'll just do it as a supplemental or appendix or something like that. We'll talk to Attorney Dreyer. Okay.
Thank you.
Is that to come out of the general fund, or is that coming out of JYCG?
General fund.
Okay, well, yeah, so that's another $4,000. All right, next.
Next item, letter H, council to consider a contract between E&K Janitorial Services, LLC, and the city of Jonesboro, Georgia for janitorial services.
All right, this was kind of like a cleanup. So the original contract, RFP, was approved for 3 years, renewable for additional 2 years. What we found out when going through all our contracts is that we actually did not have and Ms. Chandrella helped me with this, we did not actually have a signed contract. So we approved the RFP and we approved it in 2022, and she's been working and adhering to the contract. I can tell you that. She's been doing it. But we needed to get a signed contract. We did not do this RFP. We're hoping that in our new procurement process that we will get a schedule of RFPs. So I'm asking that we extend her contract 1 more year, beginning December 9th, and it will go until December 8th, 2026. Again, there's no change in compensation. It just kind of cleans it up and has her operating up under a signed contract. Jonesboro City Center monthly is $6,800. That's annual fee of $81,600, and then the Public Works monthly is $1,500. That's $1,800. You add that together. I'm not sure on that line item. I think there are other things.
Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead.
The annual for the city center is $81,600, and the annual for Public Works is $18,000. My only question on there was concerning supplies. One of those, if you look at the new contract, it says it alludes to they're providing their supplies. And then if you look at the scope of service, it says we provide the supplies.
So
just a little clarity.
No, they provide the cleaning supplies. We provide toilet paper, paper towels, usable
We do paper
consumables.
products and they do cleaning supplies?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, is there one other thing they do? No, they do all their cleaning products, except for we pay for the detergent to wash the towels. But we do our paper towels and all of that. Did you have a question, Councilman Dixon? Did you have a question, Councilman Dixon?
Are we talking about line 99?
I'm not sure of the line.
Well, it says city ops, or city center ops, professional services.
That's the one they're in.
That's the one that they're in.
2024 was $86,559 for the budget. Here in 2025 was $145,200. Now,
So
which one are we using?
We're using the 2025 one, because we're in 2025.
So we're going at $145,000.
Correct. Now, her contract only gets $81,600 plus $18,000. There are other things, like when we pay to get the floors waxed. I mean, there are other professional services. Her contract only guarantees her, and I don't know, is there $18,000 that we pay for Public Works? Is that in that same line item? We don't separate that out to your line item, do we?
Yes, I believe we separate the two.
It is separate, okay. So from the city line item, $81,000, and then $18,000 comes from over at Public Works. So I don't know what other items are in there. I know we get the floors waxed twice a year. We need to have a window cleaning. I know, Chief. We need to have a window cleaning service to come out 3 or 4 years. So that's why it's additional funding in there. This contract only pays out $81,600.
And we're reducing it from 26 down to 100,000.
Correct. So never mind. So that makes sense. If we're paying her 81 and we have 100, then that leaves us with about 18,000 to do floors, windows, and other cleaning professional. I feel like I'm missing something. Like, we had never had our carpets shampooed, and they need to be shampooed. And there are just some other maintenance things, just in regard to upkeep of the building to preserve it. Can this go to the consent agenda? Any more questions, council?
I thought on here, I was looking to date, all the way till August 31st, they had only used $41,000.
The only thing I can tell you is that at the end of the year, December 31st, we would have paid her $81,600 annually.
We've done it all the way through October, so we'll have to put the money there for November and December. You know, we have to put those 6,800 in there for those 2 months. So we captured it all the way through, October, and I think she's not almost at the 81,000. So once we do these 2, she will get to that 81,000. Once we do the other.
Yeah, and I think, did she charge us to wax our floors this year? I don't think she even,
I don't believe she did.
Yeah, so this year she did not charge to wax our floors. Next year she'll charge, but she waxed our floors twice this year, or once, y'all. How many times y'all moved that machine? Twice, and she did not charge us. Right. Everybody okay with that? Can we move it to the consent agenda? Over here? Y'all okay with consent agenda? Okay. Y'all okay with the consent agenda? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Item I, council to consider South Main Street resurfacing project from the city limits to West Mill Street.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. On November 18th, 2025, I was notified by Clayton County Department of Transportation that the Atlanta Regional Commission has issued a TIP solicitation. Clayton County Department of Transportation will be submitting resurfacing projects for FY27 under this solicitation. South Main Street has been identified by Clayton County as a roadway that meets the eligible requirements for the resurfacing program. As part of this submission, Clayton County is requesting that the city of Jonesboro commit to a 20% local match for the portion of South Main Street located between the city limits and West Mill Street. In the email that I received, he did give a estimated cost of $453,505.75. But in that same email, he also requested that we round it up to $500,000. And a 20% match for the city would be $100,000.
Okay, so everybody kind of understands. So they're resurfacing our South Main Street. And so some of that is within the county and some of that is exclusive in the city. So they're only asking us for this grant. This is a grant that will cover all but 10% of the total of our street prorated cost. And so before we committed to that, I couldn't commit that much funds. This would be funds from fiscal year 26 through 27, because he said completion would be when? 27. So some of this funding would have to be, I'm imagining we could do 50-50. We're checking to see if road improvements was listed in part of our 2026 SPLOST. If so, that would help. But if not, then we're looking at having to pull $200,000 from our budget line item. And not to beat a dead horse, this is why it's so important that we are so careful with every $1,000, because we need this road resurfaced. And we could never do it for that amount. and they're doing all the grant leg work. We just need to say we are committed to the $200,000. Do I have to write a letter of commitment? 100,000.
100,000.
Do I have to write a letter of commitment?
I could reach out to them to
Okay.
verify
So
that.
I told him before we made that commitment that,
I know there was also a time constraint on there. I believe it was next week.
yeah, they
Monday.
needed to know our commitment, because they need to get the grant in. Yes, Councilman Lester?
Is this gonna interfere with the construction up there?
The Fox Trails.
I guess that I never did.
That is part that they will be resurfacing.
But I mean, could it wait till after they get finished? Because with all the trucks and stuff going in and out of there,
Well, it's grant funding, so we're gonna have to do it on their schedule. We can't tell them.
Yeah, but I could kind of.
We can kind of shift it, but, I
communicate.
mean, but one thing they're aware, they don't want to waste the money. So they will be working with all construction coming in that way, because they also have to rebuild sidewalks, so.
well, that's what I'm sort of worried about, is that those heavy trucks on new asphalt.
Okay, well then let's not do it.
have a tendency to push it down even farther,
Mhm.
and they end up having to resurface it because of just those big trucks.
Okay, well, we don't have to do it. Like, we can't answer that right now. So I would hope that they would intervene appropriately. So either we agree or not agree to do it. But this has to be voted on tonight.
Yes,
Is that correct?
yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm fine with it, I just
Okay.
just don't wanna make it to where they go up there and do it, it's nice and done, and within 2 months, they gotta redo it again.
Understandable.
Because of all the trucks and all the stuff going
We'll add that to your job description.
Now I could kind of coordinate between the county and the contractor that's developing Fox Trail and see what we could come up with.
All right, so council, I would like a motion to approve the $100,000 commitment for the grant over fiscal year 26 and 27 with a commitment to find the funding. So we would have to put it in the budget somewhere. That would take out our whole contingency.
So I make a motion that we accept the county's thing and that we give them $100,000 for the contract.
To be split over 2 fiscal years.
Yeah, to be split over 2 physical years, 26 and 27.
Correct.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposition? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, tomorrow, if you would work with Karen to put 50,000 in the budget, we might need to go back to personnel. Item J.
Council to consider employee benefits for 2026.
Is that you, Maria? Who's that? Is that me? Maria, why you sitting? Is it me? What'd you say? Come on. Yeah. Please. Like we talked about this.
Good evening,
Good
Council,
evening.
Mayor. It is employee benefit time, and so we are asking the council to approve the employee benefits. I included in the packet there the cost for the 25
Where is the y'all have
benefits
that?
that we're currently under, as well as the new 2026. We are still, for 2026, proposing that the city pay 100% of the employee's cost of medical and dental, and then 75% of any dependents, spouse or children.
And Maria,
And
didn't we
those prices
discuss
there?
Didn't we discuss that any new employees would go straight to just, that we were, did she find out whether she could phase that out?
We weren't gonna do that this year.
Oh, we weren't? Okay,
took
perfect.
that
I
on.
remember. I know we talked about so much.
Currently, you know, our benefit coordinators are the Baldwin Group, formerly BKS Partners. We do take this to market every year. This year, in addition to Cigna, who we currently have and who we are requesting to stay with, they put it out to 5 other medical providers, insurance providers. United Healthcare, Aetna, and Anthem were not competitive with the Cigna offer at all. And then 2, Angle Health and Curative, they refused to bid. So we are proposing to stay with Cigna. They came back with a 19% originally increase over this year's rates. However, we, with some additional negotiation by the Baldwin Group, they were able to get that down from a 19.14 increase for medical to 15. Dental is down from 8.4% increase for 2026 to 5%, and then they had a 5% increase on vision, but they decided to hold with no additional increase for 2026.
And council, next week, we this one we need to vote on?
We are we would like for you to consider accepting or not putting it for a vote today, because we are tentatively scheduled for open enrollment with all of our employees December the 11th, because we have to give them time to go in and select their benefits, and then to make sure that all the information is fed to Cigna through the Employee Navigator, so that there will be no lapse or question of coverage
So the Baldwin
beginning
Group-
January 1.
Yeah, so the Baldwin Group needs it to have it this week so that they can put it in the Employee Navigator, so it'll be, like, she can't just upload it the day before. I think she asked us for like a week.
But yeah, they were actually request 10 days to, the
yeah.
Navigator does, that system.
So council, can I entertain a vote to accept the employee insurance rates as provided by Ms. Worthington? Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? All right, thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Council, do we have to go into, is there a reason to go into executive session for litigation or anything? Does anybody want to go into executive session? If we don't want to go into executive session, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Any opposed? I swear I'm gonna miss that in January. All right, thank you all so very much. Have a good evening, everyone. Stay warm.